Okay, so Hanumanji is crossing the ocean. Hanumanji met the mountain. Yes. Mountain's name is Mandara, and it was about wanting to rest, which right now I definitely do. So rest in itself is not a bad thing. It's just stopping the journey before we've got enough momentum. I think that's the important thing. When we have momentum, we'll keep going. Even if we pause or even if we rest, there's momentum and we'll keep going. But if we haven't gotten enough momentum and then you break, then to start again is very difficult. And so this mountain is like barely he took off from the shores of India. He is getting further and further into the ocean, but it's already the mountain's there. So you can't have a break so early. It needs to be enough momentum. Not that you can't ever have a break. And also, what kind of break? Like just pause and catch your breath rather than unpack your whole bag. If you're going to unpack your whole bag and, like it's a holiday resort thing, then too much commitment to resting. Have to have more commitment to the goal. And that's the whole Hanumanji crossing the ocean is the goal. We have to have focus on wanting to reach our goal. So Hanumanji is jumping over the ocean and the mountain comes up. And usually, if an obstacle comes up and you see it as an obstacle, then you think, no. But here the mountain's so friendly, so polite. Why don't you rest? Then you don't see it as an obstacle. And so very often too, our mind does this. Our mind makes us think that it's our friend and it will tell us so many things. And then we agree with it. But what's your goal? Don't just agree with whatever your mind is saying, because you have a goal and stay focused on your goal. And so if whatever your mind is saying is taking you away from your goal, then don't listen to it. Because mind is usually lots of emotions. So we can have emotions. Emotions are fine to have. But make sure we keep our goal very clear. This is what has to be done. And then the emotions are fine. Then Hanumanji keeps crossing the ocean. After saying no to the mountain, he won't rest. And he meets Surasa, the mother of snakes, and she's testing his intelligence. She wants to see, then this is again in our journey. We start, we have a goal, and in our journey, lots of things will test our intelligence, our sincerity. Like, are we going to quit? Are we going to keep going? But also, what's more important? Me being right, me being showing my strength, or once again the goal. Yeah. So Surasa opens her mouth big to swallow Hanumanji, and Hanumanji becomes bigger. Then Surasa opens her mouth even bigger. Hanuman becomes even bigger. Surasa opens her mouth so big that you would think that now just, nothing can get past her. But Hanumanji gets even bigger. And still she opens her mouth bigger. And this idea is that when we, with people, then we think, I'll be strong or I'll be big, then we'll defeat them. But they become bigger. Or if we think, I'll be cruel, then they become crueler. And then we think you can't possibly get more big than this, and we do whatever it is, we are big. Like either we scream louder, or we more calculating, or we more efficient, or instead, sometimes when people are competitive, and whether it be a dance routine or whether it be a designing a flyer or something, and we think, nobody's gonna beat this. No, and then they'll beat it. Like if we comparing with somebody else, they can easily become bigger, and then that might inspire us to do better or be bigger. and inspire us to do better. Like, let's say if I'm competing and I want to be a better dancer, and then you are good, and then I want to be better, and then you are good, and then I want to be better, and then that's great because I become such a great dancer. But if you and I are fighting, and then I want to be bigger than you and beat you, then you want to beat me, so you become bigger, and then I want to beat you, so I become bigger. And here the biggerness is stubbornness or holding on to my way, or holding on to, sometimes even holding on to sorrow. Yeah. Like, I'll be bigger than you in how much sorrow I can hold on to. Or how unfair I think life can be. Because we all think life is unfair. To me, not to anyone else. Life's only unfair to me. And so, even though every single one of us are thinking that, and my unfairness is bigger than your unfairness, it's weird how many different ways we can think we become bigger. And whatever it is, in whichever way we become bigger, in dislike, in jealousy, in contempt, in sadness, in insecurity, the world has somebody who will be bigger than us. And so Surasa opens her mouth so big to eat up Hanumanji. And then Hanumanji thinks, wait. What were her exact words? Because Surasa didn't actually want to eat him. Because if she wanted to eat him, she would have eaten him by now. Or at least taken a bite. It doesn't matter how big he is, right? It's not like you have to eat the whole apple in one go. You can just take a bite. So obviously she doesn't want to eat him. She's playing with him. So he's thinking, okay, what was her exact words? And this is what we need to think. Like, sometimes we're fighting with someone and we're so sure they're thinking something or they a certain way. They are cruel, they are mean, they are selfish. But maybe not. Maybe they also scared. Maybe they also, maybe not. It's hard to know because when we start thinking one way, our mind gets so stuck in thinking that way. It's very hard to delete. Right? Whatever it is, let's say I get really angry, and then I'm like, you. And in my head, what are you? You so annoying. But that's it. I just get stuck in thinking, you so annoying, you so annoying, you so annoying. I remember once because I'm not a very detailed orientated person. And I was working with someone who needs so much detail. And then I got, why do you have to ask so many questions? And she looked at me so sad. She looked at, because I don't know what to do. I'm like, why? Why don't you know what to do? But by this point, I'm laughing because she didn't know what to do. She needed all those details. I don't think that way, but she thinks that way. And so in my head, I can be, you just being annoying. But actually, she's not being annoying. She really doesn't know how to do the job without asking me 20 questions. She's not being annoying. But in my head, I can be so stuck. You being annoying. So or you being mean, or you being, you don't love me enough. Oh, wow, this one's a favorite. You don't love me enough. Now, if we get this thought stuck in our head, please tell me how much is enough. Like that other person can be going up to the moon, and then I'll still be thinking, because it's in my head stuck. You don't love me enough. I love you more than you love me. But it's stuck. That thought gets stuck in our head and it won't go. And it doesn't matter what that person says or do because it's stuck in my head. So what am I saying? Surasa opens her mouth to eat Hanumanji. Don't worry, I know where I am in the story. And Hanumanji thinks, why isn't she just eating me up? Why does she keep opening her mouth bigger and bigger? And so when we get stuck in our thoughts, this is the moment. This is our Hanuman moment. Wait, what did she say when this whole thing started? Maybe I didn't tell you what she said. She said, everyone has a right to their food, right? She's a snake. She has a right to her food. You are my food, so you will enter my mouth. That's what she said, right? So she didn't actually say, she did say, I will eat you. She did say that. But her words were, everyone has a right to my food. You are my food, so you will enter my mouth. So he thought, okay. So he becomes really small and he enters her mouth. He goes right inside. And by the time she's closing her mouth, because he became so small and he flew in and he came out, by the time she's closed her mouth, he's come out again. She should have also been smart, no? She should have also become small. Then eaten him, but no. But she didn't want to eat him. And this is why it's fine, because everyone does have a right to their food. She didn't really want to eat him. She was just testing him. Can we get unstuck in the thought that is stuck? That's the test life gives you. Whichever thought gets stuck in your head, right? Whichever way you think life is not unfair, that's the thought that gets stuck in your head. Yeah. And it's interesting because when a thought gets stuck in our head, we don't allow ourselves to see another point of view. Yeah. So let's go back to this lady who needed to ask me 20 questions, because that's the way her mind works. Just as it's the way my mind works, whichever way, right? I go really fast and work out the things. Yeah. Miss a lot of details also. So make lots of mistakes also. Because that's when you don't look at the details, you make mistakes. But that's just the way my mind works. And so she's thinking the same thing. That's just the way my mind works. I need all the details. But I'm not able to see that if I can think this is just the way my mind works, then obviously that's just the way her mind works. I'm not able to see it. Why? Because I'm stuck on the thought, you're so annoying. So when we get stuck with a thought, we can't see. We can't see other ways in. So somebody else can see so clearly, but I can't see it because I'm stuck in that thought. So life will keep testing us. And the test is, are we able to let go of this thought? Are we willing to see differently from this thought that we are holding on to? And so sometimes when we really trust another person and then they point it out and we little apprehensively listen to them. No, but. But if we trust them, we will listen, and then we may even be able to accept it. But ideally, we should be able to do it on our own without even anyone telling us that we're getting stuck on the thought. We should be able to know, I'm getting stuck in my thinking, and ask ourselves without asking someone else, how can I see this differently? Because it's interesting. How can I see this differently? Sometimes we can. We ourselves can see things differently. And if I really can't, after asking myself, how can I see this differently? If I really can't, then ask someone else. But don't ask a friend who is as emotional as you. Ask someone who is objective and can actually see a different point of view. Okay, so now he's crossing the ocean. He has fulfilled Surasa's condition of entering her mouth and coming out of the mouth. And then he bows down to her and he keeps going. That's where I stopped you at last week. So Hanumanji has left the shores of India. He is crossing to go to Lanka. And first obstacle was laziness. Second obstacle is when we get stuck in our thinking. Or we get stuck in wanting everything in life to be the way we want it to be. Usually it's not. Number 3. So he's flying over the ocean and then suddenly he feels something pulling him down. And he's wondering, but I'm been flying just fine over the ocean. What's this pulling me down? And so there was a demon by the name of Sanika who had this power that if she looked at somebody, she could pull them towards her. What a power. Like, I mean, if you want to learn about siddhis, these asuras knew really well how to use their siddhis. In fact, the rishis don't use so many siddhis as these asuras use all these siddhis. Even these boons these asuras ask for, they ask for such incredible boons. So he's feeling this force pulling him down into the ocean. And this time, see, when the mountain came out of the ocean, he had nice conversation. When Surasa came out of the ocean, he had nice conversation. When Sanika is pulling him down, then he dives into the water, he finds her, and he chops her up into 100 pieces. The Balvihar kids love this. When parents tell me your stories are so violent, I'm thinking they bored. The kids are bored in the class until we do a violent bit of the story. Then they all awake looking at us with big eyes like, yay! This is why the stories are violent, because the kids don't pay attention otherwise. What could Sanika represent? And if you've already heard Swami Swarupananda's explanation, do not talk. What pulls us down? Like a force, almost like a magnet pulling. What pulls us down?
Deep desires.
Desires towards. But desires are double-edged. Sometimes they inspire us to do better also. But they can definitely pull us down. Doubts. 100%.
Fear.
Again, fight, flight. Fear can pull us down when it's prolonged. But in the moment, it can be a good thing. But doubt also depends what kind of doubt. But doubt does, especially if we have doubt in our own abilities or doubt in another person. If we just have an intellectual doubt, we can clear it up. But if I doubt you, my grandmother used to say, Vem is a Hindi word, right? Ki dawai nahi hai. That's proper Hindi? Yeah. What does it translate to?
There's no medicine for superstition.
There's no medicine for superstition. But Vem is not just superstition. But yes, it is superstition also. But Vem is doubt. Right? She would use this when, let's say we're smelling the dahi and I'm saying, is it off? And then I'll ask her, right? I was a kid in those days. Has it gone bad? Can I eat it? And then she'll say it's fine. Then I'll eat it. Because she's the authority. If she says the dahi is fine, the dahi is fine. But sometimes my mom would be smelling it. And she'll say, I think it's spoiled. And then Daddy Ma will smell it and say, no, it's fine. And then Mom will still have this face, I think it's spoiled. And that's when she would say. She would say, if you think it's spoiled, don't eat it. Because you're going to definitely get sick if you're going to, if you think. Yeah. No, because you doubt. You doubt that this is spoiled, so then you're going to get sick. Because that doubt lingers in your mind. So, correct. Doubt pulls us down. Yeah. Even if I think I can do this, and then I think, can I? Don't. It's such a drop. Yeah. Very nice. Sanika can very well represent doubt. And if you're thinking about it in terms of my journey of reaching my goal, then yeah. And actually, she comes 3/4 way into the journey. The mountain comes a quarter way, Surasa comes halfway through the journey, and here Sanika comes 3. And very often we've done so much and then we doubt, will I ever reach? Can I actually do this? Sometimes we come so close, huh? I've seen people self-sabotage like on the eve of their success. So very well, it could very well be doubt. Sanika could represent doubt. Yeah. Another one that I've noticed, especially after living in Hong Kong, although it exists all over the world, is this wanting to live up to the Joneses.
Living up to the
Joneses, the Patels, the Guptas, whoever. Not everybody knows the same. It's when somebody else has something, then I also want it.
herd mentality.
No, not herd mentality is when the whole society is doing it. Now everybody is using ChatGPT, so I will also use ChatGPT. This is when I have my friend circle, and in my friend circle, for the 40th birthday, everyone is going for weekend getaway in Bali or Phuket. So now I'm turning 40, I have to go. The world has 7 billion people. 8 billion people. 7.8 billion people don't go anywhere for their birthday. They sit at home. But me, I think of all the friends I know, this one went, this one went, this one went. Everybody goes. Who's everybody? 4 people. This is living up to the Joneses. It's not everyone is doing it, but my immediate circle is doing it. And so in my head, everyone's doing it because everyone important in my life is doing it. Even though, please, there's 8 billion people on this planet who are just fine. Only 4 that I know did something, and so I also have to do it. This also drags us down ridiculously because now I'm not focused on my goal, but I'm focused on living up to this facade. And we get distracted from the goal. And it happens at the 3/4 mark because now there's been enough success. And so I get distracted from the goal. Now I think, yeah, I'll reach. So let me also do this, and let me also do this, and let me also do this. And then this mind of ours is very tricky. So Swamiji and Guruji will say Sanika represents jealousy. Jealousy drags us down. Immediately, jealousy drags us down. There's no scenario where jealousy is good. Only if I get jealous, I recognize I've gotten jealous, and then through my introspection, I improve. Then jealousy is great because it made me introspect. But as an emotion, it's very ugly. Like even when we see it it's very ugly. So when we see it in others, we can see it's ugly. When it's in us, we can't see it. Then we feel, life is so unfair. This person's better. I want to be better. So Hanumanji doesn't allow. Like there's certain things we shouldn't sit and talk with. Yeah. Non-negotiable. Mind doesn't need to indulge in doubt, and mind doesn't need to indulge in appeasing social status and getting distracted from bigger picture. And mind doesn't need to indulge in jealousies. It's very, very clear blanket. So Hanumanji crossed the ocean because he was able to overcome these hurdles. And even in our journey of getting to our goal, there's going to be these and many other, yeah, many other obstacles. But here there's these three big ones. And so now he reaches Lanka. And when he's trying to enter Lanka, we meet her for the very first time, Lankini. Again, remember I said Ramayana has some amazingly powerful women, but they come for so short. Actually, Lankini is one of these amazingly powerful women. Can you think of a border control that has only one person? Lanka is so rich. Lanka has so much gold. And who's looking after Lanka? This one woman, Lankini. Ravana has one huge army. What are they doing? All in pubs and bars and brothels. Because that's what Lanka was. You're laughing, but that's what Lanka was. Lanka was red light district. Yeah. Lanka is described when Hanuman, now we'll see it, so I can say it. The description given, so Hanumanji gets to Lanka and Hanumanji is flying around Lanka looking for Sitaji. And so he describes what Lanka is like. And we in the Brahmachari course are told you are not allowed to read this part of the Ramayana because it's so sensuous. That's what Lanka was. A lot of sensuality. So where were we? So there's this one woman, Lankini, who's an Asura guarding Lanka. And look at her alertness. Hanumanji has become as small as a mosquito. Mosquito! Can you all catch a mosquito? Hanumanji becomes as small as a mosquito, hoping to get through border control. And she catches him. Not just spots him, catches. Like, look, like she's guarding the whole shore of Lanka and she's able to spot a Hanumanji, which is mosquito size. And when she catches Hanumanji, Hanumanji grows big and punches her. Again, the kids love it. The kids love Hanumanji punching everywhere. And when she gets up from her punch, she said, I had a vision. Now imagine how strong and pure her mind was that she could have visions. That when a monkey lands in Lanka, Lanka's days are numbered. I think she had a vision he'd punch her also. So not any monkey, the one who would be strong enough to be able to punch him. Then Ravana's glory will end. Like how she knew that? Like great Rishi Munis will be able to see in the future. But here's Lankini, guarding Lanka, having such a pure mind that she can see the future. And she can see what's her role in it. Her role in it was to let Hanumanji go. You know, there's a story in the Bhagavatam of a seeker who was meditating. And while he was meditating, he went so deep, so in the zone. And then one bird was chirping and he opened his eyes and because he was so deep in his meditation, the bird burnt. Like how Bhagwan Shiva opened his eyes and Kamdev burnt. And the seeker, this young boy who was meditating, he got, whoa! You can see it, right? You can see how young boys would do this. Like by accident, they were able to do something really cool. And so thrilled they are that my meditation was so powerful that I was able to burn this bird. And then he thought, if only I could learn a little bit more, I'll get even more powerful. So he goes in search of a guru. Well, first, now he's hungry because he burnt the bird and he was meditating. And now that he's out of his meditation, he's very hungry. So he goes to a house and he's asked for bhiksha. And the lady in the house said, wait, I'm serving my husband. I'll come and give you bhiksha in a few moments. So she didn't say no. She made him wait. He starts getting angry. She's making me wait. Does she not know what a great tapasvi I am? And so after 20 minutes, she served her husband. The husband's gone out. She comes with the food and she gives it to him. And she says to him, so angry you are for waiting 20 minutes. Did you think you could burn me like the bird? And then like your eyes became so big. His eyes also became so big. How do you know about the bird? Like, how could you have known I burnt the bird? And so she giggles at him and says, I am just a student. If you want to really know the power, then you should learn from my guru. So now he thought, yeah, I want to be so powerful. Not only burn the bird, but know when other people do it. So he says, where's this guru? And he decides to go in. So he walks through, he follows all her instructions. And when he gets to the place where she said the guru is, it's a butcher shop.
Wow.
And he's thinking, no way I'm going to find a guru in the butcher shop. But the person, the butcher, while he's working, looks up at him and says, you can wait. And it will be longer than she made you wait while she was serving her husband. But again, how did she know? How did she know? And in this section of the Bhagavatam, the story is given to show us that anyone, and it doesn't matter what job they are doing, when they do their job with single pointed attention, dedicating it to the higher, their mind becomes so strong and so pure, it's as good as doing tapas. And so this is in praise of karma yoga. Just any job, whatever job you're doing. He was a butcher, but reached so many siddhis, able to connect to divinity itself. What was she doing? Cooking, cleaning, serving food. And yet, just in cooking, cleaning, her mind became so pure, became so powerful. He was sitting in the forest meditating, it wasn't so pure and powerful. And so, in fact, often in karma yoga, they say the more you work, the easier it is to train your mind. Yeah. But for karma yoga to happen, when I'm working, think of only the work. Don't think about past. Don't think about future. Think about only now. If the mind goes into past, then we're remembering horrible things that happen and we get sad. Or we remember lovely things that happen and then we get happy in that moment, then we get sad that it's gone. And so too much emotion. So don't think about past. Think about now. Don't think about future because we have no control over it. But we have control over right now. And so doing karma in the spirit of karma yoga gets us to moksha. And so Lankini is another example of this. Lankini is another example. She's an asura. She's working for Ravana. But she did her job in the spirit of karma yoga. Her love for her country, her love for her job. This is what has to be done. She did it 100%. And because her mind was so pure, she was able to have this vision. And also because her mind was so pure, she knew that Ravana couldn't continue to rule. Ravana ruling would be disastrous. And so Ravana's term needs to end. And so when Hanumanji punches her, she's happy because now Ravana's days are ending. And so if you go back to symbolism, who's Ravana? 10 heads. Ravana has 10 heads. That's our ego, our 5 senses, plus our 5 organs of actions. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touch. With our eyes, ears, tongue, nose, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touch. All we do is I want, I want, I want, I want, I want, I want. And then 5 organs of actions we use to be able to get all the things we want. Our hands, our legs, our speech. The other 2 we don't use so much, or maybe too much. Ravana's days have to be numbered. Whose days have to be numbered? Ego. Our ego causes so much misery in our lives. We want his days to be numbered. Lankini, sincere seeker, doing karma yoga, just doing her best. Such a nice character in the Ramayana. And surrounded by ego, but just doing her best. And who's Hanumanji? Guru. How do you know that's really your guru? You get punched. Maybe not physically, but maybe physically. Maybe not physically because the words feel like they punch you. Like sometimes we hear something and it's so true and we realize it's so true and we think, well, it's a good thing I'm already sitting down. And so Lankini, who is guarding Lanka, meets her guru. So many people in Lanka, Ramchandraji sent his ring with Hanumanji to Sitaji. So many people in Lanka were waiting for Guru. And so many times we think, why did Ramchandraji have to go into the forest? How all these people would have met their Guru if Ramchandraji didn't go into the forest? And so, Lankini now bows down to Hanumanji. And she lets him pass because the story has to unfold as per her vision. This is why she had the vision also, that you will get your guidance. And the same guidance he's now going to give Vibhishan, and that is constantly repeat Ramchandraji's name. Yesterday was Shivratri, so after everyone finishes, there's too much hype, can't sleep. So the worst thing to do is look at Instagram, which is what I do. Because the whole day I'm so excited. I don't look at it. Then at night I look. There's such beautiful sayings and quotes, and all satsang in only on Shivratri. Today I'm sure the feed is again useless, but yesterday's feed, such beautiful, beautiful messages. And there's this hand coming out of the ocean, and Shivji's already there holding it. What was the quote? Your problems make you hold on tight. Like so nice. So, so nice. Where all your efforts and doubt ends, Shiva starts. That was one of the other quotes. So, so beautiful. To chant his name, any name, Shiva's name, Hanumanji's name, Ganesha's name. That was also one of the ones I saw yesterday. And there was a picture of Shiva and it said, my goal, I think it was. There was a picture of Hanumanji, my inspiration. So all three pictures in one picture. And then the last one was Ganeshji, my favorite. I'm like, what's this got to do with Shivratri? But Ganeshji is his favorite, so it had to be there. I'll put Shiva, but Ganesh is my favorite. Again, so cute because Ishta Devata bias, right? It's still satsang. It's still satsang. Even somebody sent me this cute story. This is totally off the track. It's got no relation to Ramayana, but I have to tell it because it's a cute story. Somebody sent me a story. Again, Ishta Devata biased. It's Shivratri, but they are Krishna devotees, and so they want to glorify Krishna. So the story is, in fast forward, I'll say it, that Parvati ji was looking at Shivji meditating and said, you only meditate the whole day. Go and do something useful in life. So he said, what do you want me to do? I don't know, do something, farming. Okay, fine. Where will I go and do farming? So where will he go? He went to the only person he knows. He goes to Krishna and he said, okay, chalo, let's do some farming. And then Krishna said, okay, you can farm, but since you're farming my land, I should also get something from it. So he said, okay, fine, whatever you say. So Krishna said, I'll take what's at the bottom, you take what's on the top. And he thought most plants grow, upwards. So, okay, Krishna's being very nice, fine. And so he works really hard and he farms and then he takes what's at the top and it was potatoes. And Krishna takes what's at the bottom. So Krishna got the potatoes, Shivji got some shrubs. Then he goes home to Parvati ji and he gives her the shrubs and he said, after working so hard, what you brought home? And he said, no, Krishna said, he'll take what's at the bottom and I'll take what's on top. And this was what's on top. And she said, what was on the bottom? Potatoes. And then Parvati ji thinks that Krishna. I said, and so she had warned him, Krishna is very cheeky, be careful. So he goes back. The story is very long, but we're going to short it down. So now he says, no, I will take what's at the bottom and you take what's on the top. So Krishna says, fine. And now he plants wheat. So Krishna takes what's on the top. Again, Parvati ji thinks, what's going on here? The story keeps going until this person ends it by saying, Krishna comes back with the potatoes and the wheat and the corn and gives it to Parvati ji and says, stop making him work. He's very bola bala. Don't make him do anything. Let him sit here and meditate. Why they want to say that? Because Krishna is very naughty and Krishna is better. And Krishna is just Ishta Devata bias. It's Shivratri. You should be praising Shivji. No. I love Krishna. So they found a way to praise Krishna. So the person who sent me this story is a Krishna devotee, saying your Shiva is very, very bhola bhala, is her message after this whole story. And I said, no, my Shiva is very smart. He's only letting your Krishna get his way. He's more compassionate and kind than your Krishna, and your Krishna is naughty. Doesn't matter which name. And it doesn't matter which one's better. What matters is we're thinking about him. We're praising him. We're chanting his name. Because if we're not chanting his name, we're going to be thinking about all our sorrows. And we're going to be thinking about how all those thoughts that are stuck, that are not getting anywhere. And we're thinking about all the things that are pulling us down, or getting us caught more and more into samsara. And so just chant his name, just keep chanting his name. And chanting his name becomes this kavacha. Kavacha means this shield that protects you from what? Your own mind. We don't need protecting from other people. We need protecting from our own minds. And so why are we chanting Bhagwan's name? Because otherwise our mind will think too many things. So rather chant Bhagwan's name. So Hanumanji gave this beautiful diksha to Lankini. And if you think about how incredibly blessed she is, that he had to make this incredible journey. This is what Guru does, right? Guru crosses the ocean and overcomes all obstacles so that he or she can stand in front of us and give us that punch. And it's only a powerful punch because they've already crossed the ocean. They've already overcome all the obstacles. They've done all the work. And so their words have that power. This is what satsang is. And it's satsang one because Hanumanji is a guru who has done all the work and therefore is heavy. The word guru means heavy. It means many other things also. But Hanumanji also could. Heavy in that the words weigh, right? They carry their weight. But it's also satsang because Lankini receives it. When she gets the punch, she immediately recognizes it as being sent from the Lord. And bows down to it. And Bhagwan is sending us many punches. It just makes us punch back. or make us feel defeated. That even Guru is punching me and hates me. Really, nobody loves me. But our mind can come up with so many ways to sulk. Now actually we don't have enough time to start the next bit of the story. No, really. I have nothing more to say about Lankini. I'm trying to think. We can, there was this one bit. We can do this one bit. So Hanumanji enters Lanka and he is flying around looking for Sitaji. And he has to fly. Lanka was a layered city, the way it's described in the Puranas. I don't think it is like that right now. But in the Puranas, it was this layered city. And so Ravana's houses were all up on the top layer. And so he has to get there. And he can't take a big form because then he'll get noticed. And so he's this very small form. And so he's going through the marketplace and he's going through the bazaars. And so it's night because he's landed in Lanka thinking it's night. Nobody will notice. Everyone will be sleeping. But reminds you of any other city? Lanka's fully awake. The shops are all open and the market is fully busy. And so he's seeing a lot of affluence. As he's flying about, he's seeing a lot of affluence. And then finally, he thinks, oh, no destruction, go straight. Where would Sita ji be? And Ravana's kidnapped her with the hope to win her over. So he goes up to Ravana's palace. And in Ravana's main palace, he sees many, 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 many women. And each time he looks, he thinks this can't possibly be her. Because he's looking for Sita, he's looking at her. And this is where it said, don't read this description. But one of the descriptions is, a lot of them were drunk. Description of Lanka. Were intoxicated. And then he comes to this big, beautiful chamber. And he sees one person lying in this humongous bed. And he's looking at her face, and her face shines with not beauty, but with presence, personality. And there's a peacefulness in her face that he doesn't see in other women's faces when he is looking. And he thinks, could this be Sita? And then he immediately thinks, no, it can't be. Because she's lying in this humongous bed in Ravana's palace, unguarded. Very, very peaceful. And we are told it's Mandodari. And just like Lankini, Karma Yoga, do what you need to do, dedicating it to the higher. Mandodari is also an example of this. Mandodari is Ravana's wife. First wife. Ravana had quite a few wives. But there was actual love for Mandodari. Ravana actually loved her. Maybe some of the other wives was status or infatuation or passing phase, but Mandodari he would listen to. And Mandodari, there's a story of how she came to be Ravana's wife. And Ravana really had a thing about taking other people's wives. Ravana had done so much tapas, which is how he got his power. And he cut off each of his heads and offered them to Lord Shiva. Now that takes a lot of strength. He couldn't have not gotten anything out of it. And when he cut off the last one, Shiva gave him back all his heads and also gave him a boon. Whatever you would like for your dedication and sincerity. And what does he ask for? Parvati ji. And Shivji says, Tataste. Because he has zero attachment to anything. And many people will think of Shivji as Grahastha. And how can he? But Shivji is not a Grahastha. You must remember, he is completely, what's the word? Vairagi. What's the translation of Vairagi? Vairagi is detached. Complete Vairagi. Renunciate. He's a renunciate first before he is a Grahastha. Also, people underestimate Shakti. Because Ravana is running after Shakti. Shakti is aware. And so the minute he had cut off his head, Parvati ji was already very alert. Because who else is somebody going to ask for? When all these asuras ask for boon, they're asking for Prakriti only. They're asking for money, they're asking for wealth, they're asking for power, they're asking for Shakti. They worship Shiva, but when they want a boon, they're asking for Shakti only. And so it's yes, in terms of the Ramayana, he is asking for Shiva's wife. But in terms of symbolism, that's what we all do. We pray to Bhagwan and we ask for Shakti. Even we, right? Somebody's not well or we not well, and then we praying to Bhagwan, and what we asking for? Shakti. Parvati ji in another form. So Parvati ji already knew this was going to happen. And so just like how she made Ganesh ji using the mud of her body, and that's what we are made up of, mud. This is earth. It's not mud, but the word in Sanskrit is earth. So Parvati ji makes a beautiful woman. And so Shiva said, go take. And Ravana goes in search of Parvati ji to take her. But Parvati ji hides herself and leaves this beautiful woman. When Ravana sees her, thinks this must be Parvati ji. She's so beautiful. She's so divine. And so he takes her and marries her. And that is Mandodari. That's why she has this luster. She's made out of Parvati ji herself. And sometimes people will be so angry, how could Shiva just give her away? You must remember that Prakriti, Shakti, the world of matter, works as per the laws of the universe. And so karma, or, just if you touch heat, you burn. There's just laws that are being followed. And when actions are done with single-pointed attention dedicated to the higher, mind will become strong and we will be able to attain what we want to attain. It's a law. And Ravana did single-pointed attention dedicated to the higher. And so he will attain what he set out to attain. Shiva's not going to stop that because the laws have to work. And so you think, why does Bhagwan allow these horrible things to happen? But these people followed the laws. It's not like Bhagwan's not allowing it to happen or not allowing it to happen. They follow the laws, they are getting the result. What are good people doing? Y'all also follow laws, no? Become as powerful as Ravana. Work single-pointedly with dedication to the higher. Today we saw Lankini, we saw Mandodari, we saw the dude who burnt the parrot, the butcher, and the housewife. Okay, we pause here for today. Any questions?
So the real Parvati went back to Shiva.
Yeah. Real Parvati is always with Shiva only. She's the entire universe. Parvati ji is the entire universe. One person cannot own her. Bhagwan only can be her consort.
She keeps me on my toes. Let him try.
Shivji.
Do we know if Ravana realizes?
Does Ravana realize that's not Parvati? Yeah.
That part, like, is it written?
No, that part's not written. But he would have. Yeah. But Mandodari is beautiful. Like, really. She's so, like, the few conversations you hear of her having with Ravana, we'll hear them. As you all have seen, it's been my aim to highlight women of the Ramayana. We'll name the series Women of the Ramayana. A whole class dedicated to Lankini. Now, Purnamada, Purnamida, Purna, Purnamudachyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Hari Om.